Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. It's Murph, along with special guest Kyle Clinworth, and we are here to bring you 200 laps of AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series action live from the paperclip. It's the Martinsville 200. Sam Crow not able to make it this evening due to some real-world commitments, and so I am joined by iRacing Indy 500 top split, one of the top split winners. In the fixed side, Kyle Clinworth. He's also a Indy Oval fixed champion. And Clindy, we're in for a treat tonight, baby. We've got the shortest track in NASCAR, and it is definitely going to produce some chaos, isn't it?
Absolutely, Murphy. This half-mile flat paperclip's got a lot of quirks to it that these truck drivers are going to have to wrangle. You've got a big sausage curb down on the bottom that if you really want to wrap the bottom, you're going to have your left side tires right on that candy cane striped red and white curbing, and you've only got about 2 lanes of racetrack to work with. Basically, the wider concrete through the corners is where the cars are going to be, or the trucks are going to be, and if you're out in that asphalt in the third lane, there's nothing but marbles up there, baby. So get ready for them to beat and bang and find their way to the candy cane down the bottom of the track.
That's right, the virtual grandfather clock also on the line. Not only that, this is the final race to transfer to the championship round next week in Phoenix. Speaking of that, Ryan O'Donoghue is the points leader. He is 39 markers ahead of Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul is 11 ahead of Justin Osterman. Mr. Excitement stands third. David Dunwoody, 67 points in arrears in fourth. Watch out for those 4 to protect their positions. And then you've got Chuck Sweeting, Chad Dulabon, Jeremy Dunwoody, and Chad Winstead as the 4 on the outside looking in. I see Jeremy Dunwoody in the lobby. Do not have Winstead or Dulabon, and so that'll be interesting to see if those 2 guys show up. But the front 4, Clindy, with those point standings, really it's down to 5 drivers. Chuck Sweeting is going to be on the outside. He has 7 points behind David Dunwoody for the final spot. Ryan O'Donoghue, Kendall Paul, and Justin Osterman fairly secure here going into the final race of the round of 8. But Martinsville is a track where anything can happen. And Clindy, just like the Miata 500 that's going to be staged here in iRacing over the weekend, we expect a lot of cautions.
Yeah, the 200 laps and everybody's going to be beating and banging the whole entire way. All it takes is a truck to slip or spin, and you're going to have yourself a yellow period. It'll be about 4 or 5 laps because NASCAR's got some extra caution procedures to take care of. They've got the lucky dog and, an extra lap for lapped cars to pit. So every time somebody gets a little too rowdy, you put everybody in timeout, slow them down, back them off, cool off those tempers. You can't really take off your gloves, take off your helmet, and go beat up the other competitors here because they're not side by side like they would be in real life, but maybe they'll get a little spicy over voice chat, and I can do my best to give the stream the PG version of that.
You can relay the PG version. Speaking of cautions, we are going to have stages here. The stage cautions are going to occur at lap 50 and 100. It is a 200 lapper. There are 3 sets of tires on the pit lane for these drivers. Tires, though, Clindy, they don't really come into play that much at Martinsville, do they?
Not as much as you would think, considering how much these trucks are sliding on entry and on exit. I've seen a lot of drivers lock up the rear brakes on entry and slide or drift all the way through the corner, and then if you put too much of that horsepower you've got in that big naturally aspirated V8 down on exit, you're really going to light up the rears on this flat racetrack.
You most certainly will, and we do already have a pretty decent crowd in tonight. Among those, want to give a hearty hail, a welcome, and a good luck to Donald Green. He is here. We've got Mike Rigney, the Onyx Racing League impresario, has joined us here to cheer on, say hey Lewis Hayes, among others, along with Ryan O'Donoghue. Something that Sam and I always do, Clindy, is we like to check the fastest lap of the session. And it's kind of a running gag. I always ask Sam if he wants to guess who the fastest lap in practice is. Clindy, you care to have a stab?
Well, you've told me that Ryan O'Donoghue's the fastest guy every single week, and I gotta pick him.
For the third week in a row, he was briefly headed, I believe, by Say Hey Lewis Hayes last week. Ryan O'Donohue is the fastest in practice, and that is by nearly a tenth and a half, which is huge here at Martinsville. Matt Wagner, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Justin Osterman, and Jim Duda are going to round out your top five. James Hodgson, the Battle and Britt, Kendall Paul, Chuck Sweeting, David Dunwoody, and Billy Elwell going to round out the top 10. And I know Billy Elwell, along with Liam Anderson and Jalen Story, have their fans in the chat. Do want to welcome them. Clindy, if this race ever gets into a lull, we can always talk about our favorite foods with the Liam Anderson Motorsports fans. They are absolutely awesome. Martinsville, as Clindy mentioned, is a very unique layout. It's a paperclip. It is the shortest circuit on the NASCAR schedule, and Clindy, to my recollection, it's also the only track with a railroad immediately adjacent to the facility.
I believe you were wrong on both counts, Murph, because they have the LA Coliseum as of late. I know this year they went to Bowman Gray instead, but I think the Coliseum is slightly smaller than Bowman Gray, but they're both very, very small. And I believe Wilkesboro has train tracks right by it, I think.
Don't know that Wilkesboro does. I know that Martinsville does. You can see them here. That is the reason for the backstretch not having yet the largest of grandstands, and of course now those are billboards. It is the shortest regularly used Cup track. I believe it is also the second oldest now that Martinsville is back on the schedule. Wilkesboro, excuse me. 0.526 miles, Lindy. 12 degrees of banking in each corner, no banking on the straightaways. The turns, the bottom two lanes are paved in concrete. The top and the straightaways are paved in asphalt. And Martinsville is best known for what food, Clindy?
Hot dogs!
That's
Electric
right.
pink and super, super good.
They are absolutely amazing. The $2 hot dog. If they were a foot long and covered in cornbreading, Mike Rigney would be all over those things. Alas, the hot dogs here at Martinsville are absolutely famous. The track record, 18.845 seconds. Ross Chastain in the 2022 NASCAR Cup race. This track was originally dirt, Clindy. Can you imagine this place as a dirt track?
Oh, absolutely. It's not too different from DuQuoin, just half the size.
That's absolutely right. In 1960, I believe, the track was paved. In 69, it was changed from exactly a half mile to the 0.526 miles that it's known as now after NASCAR remeasured it. The track expanded quite a bit in the 90s and 2000s. They built the tower grandstands in each corner. The backstretch grandstands kind of went away at one point, and then became billboards. It was eventually purchased by the International Speedway Corporation, and then NASCAR purchased it. But this is one of those tracks that even though it's been under Clindy NASCAR control, it's maintained its local control. Clay Campbell still operates the speedway that his family built. And here we are ready to get qualifying started, Clindy. As is the tradition here in the AMA, we're going to find somebody to ride on board with. Who would you like to see, Mr. Clinworth?
For qualifying here?
Yeah, who do you think we should ride on?
Donald Green.
Let's do Donald Green. There's Donald Green. Let's get on board Donald. We'll get the inputs up. And there is the driver of the number 51 machine. He is out and on the course.
He had middle of the pack pace in practice, so this would be, I don't want to say what you'd think the majority or the average of the field will look like, right? So he's not going to be blazing around like O'Donohue, but he's not going to be bringing up the rear either. Looks like he's a good tire and a half off the curb there.
Yes, he is. We are riding over his right shoulder. There's Donald Green, and you see that truck get very skatey coming off of turn number 2. There he is diving into number 3. And you're right, Clinty. He is not all the way down on that curbing. A lot of drivers don't like to get down there all the way. You're afraid you'll hit that curb. And if you hit that curbing, boy, that will shoot you straight up into the outside wall in a hurry.
Donald puts up a 20.6, about a second off the pace, it looks, from the faster trucks here.
There he was. There's Liam Anderson as he comes across around 3 and 4 to complete his second lap. Anderson in the car numbered 18. It's going to appear as number 8 in your scoring pylon. Anderson, 20.173 miles an hour. That will put him 8th quick. Here is Say Hey Lewis Hayes in the 40 Raceware machine, and that's a good-looking truck. But Say Hey Lewis Hayes, he succumbs to that loose condition on entry. Clindy, we saw that happen a whole bunch in practice. Say Hey Lewis Hayes goes for a ride down in turns 1 and 2, and he is going to have to get that truck pointed back in the right direction. He's already 3rd quick. David Dunwoody is pulling the Matt Wagner strategy. I think he's going to try to set the slowest lap time in qualifying, Clindy.
Somebody's got to, right? It's a pat on the back, and sometimes you'd like to try to go from worst to first. And if you don't get on the podium, hey, at least you could be the P1 award of the LGN Driver of the Race. Driver of the Race is absolutely right. Maybe it was a strategy by Dunwoody. He was going extremely slow on his outlap, and he has turned up the wick on lap 1. Maybe that was a strategy to save his tires, Clindy, for lap 2? I have no idea. I don't race these trucks very often. I know that I do that a lot in the IndyCar, so maybe. Sure, why not?
Good-looking truck there for Dunwoody. Archway Industrial Coatings, Admin Box, Blackmagic Studios across the line for David Dunwoody and his lap, 19.567. That will not better his first lap of 19.534. He is 9th quick. Speaking of Matt Wagner, Clindy, here's Matty Wags. We'll jump on board with the Horizon Racing League owner as he wheels his DeWalt Toyota through turns 3 and 4 here at Martinsville. Across the line he goes, lap 1, 19.448. Now, he was very fast in practice, Clindy. And his lap is going to be 4th quick. There are 15 drivers who have taken time in the session. It is worth noting Jeremy Dunwoody, Chuck Sweeting, Billy Elwell, and Jalen Story have not taken time, and so they may elect to be starting at the rear of the field. We do have 20 trucks signed in for this evening's action, and with less than a minute, Clindy, before we're set to get the grid, I don't believe that that those 5 drivers are going to venture out onto the circuit.
Doesn't seem like it. No need to roll out the backup or get an incident point. Spinning it, trying to get to the line with not enough time to do 2 full laps.
You are absolutely correct. It does not take very long. If we get this thing going green in long stretches, this race can be over in a hurry with 20-second laps, Clindy. We don't anticipate that will be the case, though. A lot of times here at Martinsville, the only way to advance your position is to use the bumpers.
Maybe. I've seen a lot of drivers in real life have good opportunities passing, rolling the center of the corner high. Basically, you enter a little more shallow than normal with a little more speed, and you intentionally miss the apex, and then you take a wide straight line off the corner, basically creating a big U shape, bigger than the, we'll call it a lowercase n, right, that the curb would be. So it's increasing the radius to increase your speed both on entry and on exit, but you're sacrificing your speed in the middle of the corner.
You are indeed. On the pole tonight, Ryan O'Donohue continues the streak, 91.310 miles an hour. Jim Duda is going to beat his outside. Say hey, Lewis Hayes, Matt Wagner. A pair of open wheel aces. They're going to start on row 2. In 5th, Colby Pierce. He'll be flanked by Kendall Paul. John Hutchins, Justin Osterman make up row number 4. And how about James Hodgson, the Battle and Brit? He'll start next to David Dunwoody, 9th and 10th. In 11th, it's going to be Jeffrey Hyatt, Matt Sizzler, he'll go 12th. He's been a hot driver of late, Clindy. That's one to watch. Keith Graham, Liam Anderson, 13th and 14th. Donald Green was the last driver to take time in that number 51. Chuck Sweeting, Billy Elwell, Brian Sharp, Jeremy Dunwoody, and Jalen Story are going to make up the balance of the field. They did not take time in qualifying. In addition, Billy Elwell is going to have a penalty at the start, so he'll need to drive through, I believe, at the beginning of the race.
It just means he was driving extra hard last week.
Very good. I love your optimism, Clindy. I love it.
Hey, man, I've had so many penalties as of late. I haven't learned. So they need to make a timeout box or a sin bin, kind of like in hockey for racing. Because, the 1 second I send on my pit box or the 40-second holds, it's not long enough for me to learn my lesson.
I have a hard time learning those lessons sometimes, too. We do have a massive crowd in here this evening and do want to thank everybody for joining in. If you have a question about the racing this evening, any of the drivers, feel free to throw it in chat. This is going to be an interesting one. These races, when you get down to the final round or the final race before the championship race, it's always a mad struggle, especially if you're on the outside looking in. Again, Ryan O'Donoghue, he's one of those that I think he's probably got it locked down, a 39-point lead over Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul is pretty firmly ensconced in the playoffs in that championship round. But Osterman, Dunwoody, and Sweeting, Osterman, David Dunwoody, and Chuck Sweeting, David Dunwoody being the Dunwoody that we'll focus on, they're going to have a scrap. 3 drivers for those final 2 spots. And don't sleep on Jeremy Dunwoody either. That's a guy who's very, very consistent, Clindy. If this race gets attritional, he might be able to sneak in with a good finish.
Yeah, sometimes at tracks like this, the best way to get a top 10 is wait for 10 cars to crash. That's where my pace would be for sure.
Don't sell yourself short, Clindy. We've got Mike Rigney in here to set you straight if you get too much on the self-deprecating side. The pace truck is getting ready to pull on off. The field is on the backstretch. There they are. We're going to sit in Mike Rigney's seat for a minute because that's where Mike would be sitting if he were here high atop the tower. This is a unique track in that you can see the entire facility from that fisheye camera, Clindy, and that's something that we will use tonight. Ryan O'Donoghue has the field under his control.
Green flag, green flag.
There's the green, and we are underway 200 laps here at Martinsville.
2 by 2, they trickle into 1. Let's see if everybody's safe on the brakes. No drama so far. Good job to these truckers.
There they go, and you do see 3 stragglers: Sweeting, Jeremy Dunwoody, Jalen Story. They are already committed to just kind of staying out of the way early here, Clindy.
It's obviously the drive to survive. To survive all 200 laps is probably the goal for every driver out here, and they're going to go about it different ways. Some people choosing to be passive, and other drivers, like the number 6 of Jeffrey Hyatt, being a little more aggressive.
Yeah, there's Jeffrey Hyatt. He is on the bottom. He's got Matt Sizzler in that 3 birdies machine up on the top. Ryan O'Donoghue sets the fast time, 19:449. That is hauling the mail, Clindy. But Jeffrey Hyatt trying to get toward the front, can't do it. Matt Sizzler, though, he's looking to make a move on David Dunwoody. And out the front of that truck, you see a battle that is James Hodgson and John Hutchins going at it. The forward-facing 88 with the stripes on the top. They're going to go underneath Colby Pierce. Pierce went way wide through turns 1 and 2, and he's going to cede spots now to John Hutchins, David Dunwoody, and now Matt Sizzler gets to his inside.
And those are the marbles. He missed turn 1. He's almost missed it there again. Colby's got to get this under wraps here. Back that braking zone up. Maybe dial in a little more forward front brake, because it looks like he's just being meek or timid on the brakes to avoid locking up the rears on entry.
Yeah, and that's something that you really have to do. You've got to get the brake bias right here. The driver's doing a tremendous job getting some heat into those rears. But if you misjudge the brake bias here, Clindy, you're going to go for a ride on corner entry as we see Jeffrey Hyatt now pick up pick up the rear of the number 42 of Colby Pierce, and he's got Keith Graham in immediate attendance behind him. Let's jump on board with Jeffrey Hyatt. And you see kind of two different approaches to the corner here. Colby Pierce very shallow. Hyatt's almost diamonding the corner. He's letting it flow in, trying to get a run straight off, Clindy.
Yeah, and that's kind of the line that Hyatt's coming to pit road here.
Yes, Jeffrey Hyatt is bringing the number 6 to pit lane. Don't know why he would be doing that, but Jeffrey Hyatt, and he is ejected from the server, so maybe he had a real life situation, or he was going to start in park this evening. Either way, Jeffrey Hyatt is out. Ryan O'Donoghue has lagged out. The leader nearly had a connectivity issue there, Clindy.
Yeah, I was about to say it at the same time you did, but just a little blink here. No harm, no foul. He's gone again.
Yeah, he's Ryan O'Donoghue experiencing some connection issues. And the thing with O'Donoghue is he has nearly caught the back of this field already. That's Jeremy Dunwoody up ahead in the number 99 machine. Billy Elwell has fallen 3 laps in arrears due to his early penalty. That's not something that will affect him in a huge way with the expected number of cautions, Clindy. Jeremy Dunwoody gets into the wall a little bit coming off turn number 4.
Yeah, what Billy wants to see is a flurry of early yellows before any other truck goes 1 lap down, which will allow him to take the free pass under each of them. Basically, until the leader, O'Donoghue, passes another truck to go 1 lap down, Elwell will be getting that free pass. So expect him to hold up O'Donoghue at every opportunity here. It looks like he's running really hard, fast laps, whereas O'Donoghue's maybe just kind of riding and saving his stuff for, these trucks can go upwards of 100, 150 laps almost on fuel here.
Well, and that's going to be the strategy call. Who is going to stay out under that first caution? You can make it to the end of stage 2 without a stop, but who's going to want to? Who's going to make that call, Clindy, and try to survive those 45 or so laps at the end of that stage? Watching Ryan O'Donoghue, here's Jim Duda in second, and he's being pursued by a pair of old friends. That's Say Hey Lewis Hayes in the 40 Racewear truck. Following him, there's Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and immediately to the rear of Say Hey Lewis Hayes, that's old Matty Wagner, and they've got Kendall Paul behind them in 5th, and Kendall Paul's a driver who does not want to see any calamity. He is 3rd in the points, Clindy.
He just got rear-ended. Don't jinx him like that, Murph.
I should have knocked on the wood, and that's Justin Osterman, Mr. Excitement, behind him. Those 2 drivers are positions 2 and 3 in the points. They do not want to see any calamity around them. Not only that, they're teammates, Clindy.
What's rule 1 about your racing your teammate, Murph?
Do not wreck your teammate.
What's rule 2?
Refer to rule 1. You know what rule 3 is?
I always say that rule 3 is don't hit what's in front of you, but I break that rule all the time. Rule
3 is to ask Gary Godso to interpret rules 1 and 2 for any teammates that violate them.
I think he always lets the chat make the decision.
Very good, and you see the details in the simulation. The brake rotors are already starting to glow on the front of that number 78 of Kendall Paul. And what that tells you, Clindy, is that Kendall Paul's got a lot of front brake bias dialed into that truck.
Yeah, I hate braking with the rears. I always have. Racing on road has made me have to accept it a little bit more, but I love when the nose bites into the track and lets you plant the left front and right front tires on entry. They're going to get to the corner first. I want them to be at the right speed and not locking up, and that's where moving the brake bias back actually helps you. The more you can share the brake between the front and the rear, the less likely you are to lock up the front tires. But the rear tires, because they're under load from accelerating and going so fast, they're just as likely to lock up if you put too much bias in the rear. So it's really a balancing act to get the brake load and the weight transfer to share all of that equally so you don't end up spinning or locking a tire.
It most certainly is. And there are things we've talked about as we take a look at Justin Osterman. You can see the front rotors glowing on his, same with Same with James Hodgson in the forward-facing 88 behind him, the Doppler effect truck. It's one of those things, Clindy. I always looked at it like this: whether it's the flames out of the pipes, the brake rotors glowing, there's always something that you can learn by looking at the trucks around you or looking at the cars around you, even, isn't there?
Sometimes you learn a bad habit, or you just learn their tendencies, or who's being aggressive and who's posturing.
You know, I remember a race I was running. I can't remember the series it was in. It was a league race. Take a look at Matt Sisler. He is up to 9th spot. Matt Sisler has made up 3 positions early. He started 12th. He is currently 9th, and he is currently being chased by David Dunwoody. Now, Dunwoody is a playoff truck, and so there's Dunwoody. He is right where he started in 10th spot. And I don't think David Dunwoody would declare it a bad night if he stayed there and just stayed in a position that's going to pay some stage points, stayed out of trouble. It's going to be a lot of work for his brother, for either Chuck Sweeting or his brother Jeremy, to catch him in the points. And he is ahead of both Chuck Sweeting and Jeremy Dunwoody on the track. Sweeting is 13th. And there's Chuck Sweeting racing along behind Keith Graham. And then Jeremy Dunwoody is 16th. He's already gone a lap down, as has Jalen Story. Slow and steady may yet win the race for Jalen Story, though. He's on the course, Clindy. Critically, that truck doesn't have any damage to it. Billy Elwell, shotgun on the field in the 67. He is 3 laps down after an early penalty. Next up on the hit parade for Ryan O'Donoghue, Donald Green in the 51. And watch the speed differential getting into the corner here from O'Donoghue. Well, that's not O'Donoghue. That's Jalen, or not Jalen Story. That's Billy Elwell behind him. Yeah, Elwell trying desperately to catch back up and make some track position. The kicker for Elwell is he is running the same pace essentially as Jim Duda and say, hey, Lewis Hayes, Matt Wagner in positions 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, Elwell was running some really good laps, but now that there are other trucks now 1 lap down, his pass to get back laps is going to involve taking the wave around, which will put him off sequence and off strategy from the other leaders. Story here getting filtered by the field. He's in the high line, putting up not much of a fight as Duda and now Lewis Hayes almost put his right front to Story's left rear.
Yes, he is, and that's a dangerous position to be in. Matt Wagner is the next up on the hit parade, and once you get a truck hung up in that high line, Clindy, you really want, if you're Wagner, you just want to get right on the tailgate to say, hey, Lewis Hayes, and kind of get a conga line going, keep him up there.
Another thing you could do is back the corner up, get a really good exit, and then be brave enough to go 3 wide. If Wagner's been trying to get around Lewis Hayes for the last few laps, it's a really good opportunity to do that, but Story misses the corner there, and they both filter through.
They most certainly do, and we'll keep it with Matty Wagner because he is running some interesting lines around Martinsville here, trying to get by, say, hey, Lewis Hayes, we'll jump on board the Matt Wagner machine. He is 4th. That is Lewis Hayes in front of him. And then Jim Duda is 2nd. Ryan O'Donoghue, interestingly enough, Clindy, has built nearly a 3-second lead. He's almost a 10th of a second a lap quicker than everybody else out on the course. And we are already more than halfway through this first stage.
Yeah, you see a 3-second lead at a lot of places, and you think that, you just need a couple tenths for a couple laps, and you'll get back in the draft envelope just fine and maybe catch up, but not at a short track. If you're 3 seconds up, that may as well be a whole lap ahead.
Yeah, 3 seconds a lap here at Martinsville, and Wagner has fallen back a little bit from, say, hey, Lewis Hayes. Hayes is caught Jim Duda now. He's getting pretty doggone close to Jim Duda. That had spread out a little bit. Now it's starting to close back up. You've got the lap truck of Jeremy Dunwoody ahead there. Donald Green is just about 2 seconds from going a lap down. We'll keep an eye on that. Billy Elwell continues, though, to run fast lap after fast lap. He was a 10th of a second quicker than Ryan O'Donoghue that last time around.
I mean, maybe Elwell's going to take the fight to the leaders here and try to get his laps back the hard way.
Well, I think for Elwell, it's a matter of he's been consistently so much faster than Jeremy Dunwoody, Jalen Story, Donald Green. I think the strategy for Elwell is, one, keep the truck clean, but also he may be able to put himself at some point in the race on the same
He
lap.
almost sent it on Liam Anderson. What a move that was from Elwell.
He did send it. He is past Liam Anderson now. And Liam Anderson, unfortunately, is in the clutches of Donald Green, and they are both looking at the number 14 of Ryan O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue is the leader. There he goes underneath Donald Green. He's going to put Green a lap down, and now he's looking at Liam Anderson in that 18 truck.
Yeah, and that's when Elwell really needed to press the go button. He's like, I see that leader in my mirror. I cannot go 4 laps down. I want to be racing for Liam's position, once he's 3 laps down, because he's so much slower than O'Donoghue. Because Elwell has the pace, these guys will come to him after each stage. Right? Every time they re-rack, they'll be at the back of the line, and O'Donoghue will just catch them again in 40 laps.
That's very true. Elwell will also have the option to take the wave around at the next caution and put himself 2 laps down. Do want to thank everybody for joining in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, be notified of all future P1 iRacing broadcasts, just like the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. We are already 20% distance gone, Clindy. Ryan O'Donoghue has asserted dominance over the field. He has now lapped everybody up to 13th place. Keith Graham, we do have one retirement. That is Jeffrey Hyatt. He bowed out after just 8 laps. But so far, this has been a Friday night cruise for Ryan O'Donoghue.
Let's give a hand to these truckers, keeping it clean and green at this bull ring known for chaos more often than not. So everyone's here riding and surviving for now, and we got some good action here in the top 5. They're looking to be 3 wide. Who is that? It looks like Sizzler again on the move to the bottom of the 99.
Yeah, I was just about ready to focus in on this action. That's Kendall Paul in 5th. He's the head of this line. You've got Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, James Hodgson, John Hutchins in the 72. Kendall Paul around.
Oh, there they go.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Kendall Paul goes around. Caution is on the speedway, and that is going to save Keith Graham from going a lap down. It's going to give a lap back to Liam Anderson, and this is going to Clindy. This is going to bring up an interesting situation for the AMA. In the past, there's a lap number that they will stay under caution until the stage. We're going to watch the Kendall Paul incident, so you'll want to monitor the in-race chat. And it's just the slightest of contact from Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, and around goes Kendall Paul.
Yeah, they call that showing the nose. Osterman was underneath him by half a headlight, and I'm there, I'm faster. Gave him 1 bump to tell him I'm there. 2nd bump saying, hey, I want by. 3rd bump sends him around.
Yeah, we're gonna get in a little bit tighter here on Kendall Paul. Sam and I have discussed that 3-tap system. There's 1, I'm here. 2, I want by, and there's 3, I'm going. Kendall Paul around. Thankfully for Kendall Paul, he doesn't hit anything, so he's just going to be the final truck on the lead lap. We do have takers though, Clindy.
Yeah, a few trucks decided to come to pit road. It looks like Chuck Sweeting, Keith Graham, Colby Pierce, and Lewis Hayes gave up a very good running position to put himself off sequence, but maybe Lewis Hayes is trying to win this race rather than finish, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th.
Well, I was going to say the deal for say Lewis Hayes is he's not running for points. You do not see the playoff banner on the 40 Raceware truck, and they're stopped at the entrance to turn 1. Just about a collision between say Lewis Hayes, Liam Anderson, Chuck Sweeting, Colby Pierce is there. So too Billy Elwell. Elwell did not stop under that caution, so he should he's not going to get a. He's not going to get.
He will not get the wave because other leaders didn't go.
Yeah, and he's
to pit road.
He's
So
going to be
stuck where he was.
He's going to be stuck where he was, and he's not going to get it either because with the next one, because say Lewis Hayes, Chuck Sweeting, Keith Graham did stop. Liam Anderson did not. Colby Pierce did pull his truck down to pit lane. Interestingly enough, no repair on any of those trucks.
No damage. Nice clean spin.
Yeah, no damage to anybody. Everybody keeps on trucking. Do want to thank Archway Industrial Coatings for their sponsorship of the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. They're a St. Louis-based flooring company that do epoxy, urethane flooring solutions, concrete repair at your house, business, restaurant, retail, whatever you need in the way of floor. Archway Industrial Coatings has you covered. That's their website is archwaycoatings.com, and we are back under green, and Ryan O'Donohue rockets away from the field, and it's going to be a very short jaunt to the stage caution, and they are all over each other. The top two, O'Donohue and Duda, broke away. They're 2x2 behind him, Clindy.
2 to go to the stage end here. Pit road has closed. Wagner bumping fenders there with Osterman.
And that's going to put him in a bad position. James Hodgson's going to go by. Matt Sizzler is going to go past. Sizzler is going to be the biggest mover in the stage by far. John Hutchins, he gets a little bit loose, nearly collected by David Dunwoody. Dunwoody is going to back out of it. He'll maintain the low side. Kendall Paul with a nice recovery. He is going to remain 9th, I believe, in the stage. Battling Chuck Sweeting there. But the outside, you can hold somebody off up there if you've got good enough traction. Clindy. And Kendall Paul does so. Well, he does not, actually.
The big loser from that restart was Matt Wagner. He restarted second row on the bottom, and he came home here 6th. So effectively, he restarted 3rd and lost 3 spots. And some of those trucks that started on the outside line. I wonder if he had been running a little too hard on the previous green flag stint to try to pass Lewis Hayes and had a little less tire life left underneath his Toyota Tundra there.
That could have been. Speaking of Say Hey Lewis Hayes, he finishes the stage 12th. Chuck Sweeting was 9th. They will line up Sweeting, Keith Graham, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Colby Pierce. Those were the 4 trucks that pitted under the last caution. You would assume that everybody else is going to make their way to pit road, and many of them have, starting with James Hodgson. He is on the pit lane, as well as Matt Sizzler, Matt Wagner, John Hutchins, Chuck Sweeting, Kendall Paul, Colby Pierce, Liam Anderson on the pit road. Jalen Story is going to be the lucky dog. Ryan O'Donohue, Jim Duda, Justin Osterman, David Dunwoody did not pit. How about that, Clindy?
I think they're doing it like it's a road course. Dunwoody's coming this time. I think he just wants to filter to the back. But the front 3, Osterman, Duda, and O'Donohue, don't want to pit until they make it to the end. They want to be the first to pit last. I'd assume that all these trucks are going to be on a one-stop strategy. They are probably a little sheepish about making it to the end on fuel from here. So they might come at the end of stage 2 and just have the best tires at the end.
I believe you'd have to be absolutely correct on that, Clindy. Do want to thank everybody for joining in. You're watching the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series on the P1 Broadcasting Network. If you haven't already done so, make sure you slap the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts on P1, just like this one. Clindy, we've got a pretty awesome slate coming up here, don't we?
I would certainly hope so. I know we've got the votive season finale coming up next Sunday night. What else is on the plate, Murph?
Yeah, so we do not have anything, I don't believe, this weekend. Votive is off this Sunday, correct? That's their finale. Correct. Is next Sunday. So Gary, myself, Jacob Collins, we're gonna take the weekend off. The next show is Monday night, 8:00, for the IndyCar Open Series Top Split. That is from Auto Club, and that is always, Clindy, a pretty wild show. Speaking of wild shows, we're going to get back to green flag action. Ryan O'Donohue leads away, and we are in the P1 airship. He leads away from Jim Duda. Justin Osterman clears in the 3rd. Say Hey Lewis Hayes and Keith Graham, they are on new tires, and they are battling for what would be the 4th spot. And look at that move from Matt Sizzler. Love the blimp shot, Clindy.
There's a bunch of trouble going into turn 1. It looks like Elwell turned around the... Oh, boy, who was that? David Dunwoody. So Dunwoody's got a busted up front end on that Scooby snack machine, and kept on trucking and no yellow, though.
Yeah, let's see if we can't get back and have a look at what has befallen David Dunwoody here on that restart. Here we go.
Oh, and Keith Graham got turned in front of most of the field. Colby hit him. Wagner's involved. The 72 of John Hutchins is involved.
Yeah, there's Keith Graham, and Dunwoody gets in the back of Elwell one more time, going through turns 1 and 2 under the caution flag. And here's what goes on with Keith Graham. Colby Pierce gets in a little bit hot on the bottom. I don't know that they touched there, though, Clindy. We're going to come off the corner, down the front. Everybody's looking good across the start-finish line. The EPI, the Elite Performance Industry Chevrolet, and he turned across, wasn't quite clear. Colby Pierce gives him the nudge. Around goes Keith Graham. He does a good job of standing in the gas. John Hutchins gets collected. Not really much fault of his own on the outside. And we are once again under the yellow light here at Martinsville. No harm, no foul. Kendall Paul did get collected in that. Matt Wagner is going to pull in. All of these trucks here are going to get some repair. Wagner, Kendall Paul, David Dunwoody, Chuck Sweeting, all on pit road, as is Billy Elwell. Elwell 3 laps down. The rest of these trucks on the lead lap. Jeremy Dunwoody is going to get his lap back. But we were talking about, Clindy, future upcoming events. You've got the IndyCar Opens top split Monday night, 8 o'clock. That's the present. That's the top flight in iRacing IndyCar at the moment, and that is always a show. You're going to be in that race, aren't you, Clindy?
Should be. It'll be a pack race. It's going to be really cold at Auto Club, so expect 4-5 wide racing. Not too dissimilar from the MAV TV 500.
There you go. The past of IndyCar, the Lotus 79 series. This is a race I would love to be in, Clindy. 9:05 Eastern. If you guys can manage it, can you get done at Auto Club so that I can go run Motegi in the old Lotus? That would be amazingly fantastic. 9:05. It'll be Gary Godso, LGN on the call. Jacob Collins and I will have the IndyCar Open top split, and then to cap the night, 10 o'clock, the Indy Next Road Series from the Indy GP circuit. So that'll take place at 10. Tuesday night, you've got the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split. That'll be from the Rock, and then that's at 8:15, immediately followed by the Indy Next Oval Series Tuesday night top split from North Wilkesboro. I don't know if I can.
The first track that those cars actually race well at. Nashville, I think, is okay, but I think Wilkesboro will actually be good.
Green flag, green flag.
Most certainly so. We do not have a Horizon race on Wednesday. Thursday night, we'll bring you the second split of the Indy Pro Series qualifiers, and then we'll also have the championship. The championship week here for the AMA. Thursday night at 8 is going to be 8:20 is going to be the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National finale. Friday night, Halloween, Clindy. Halloween. The Trucksters are going to take to Phoenix for their final race, for their championship shootout. I had the honor of being involved in that last year. It's a ton of fun.
They should put a full moon on the sim, just so it's super extra spooky.
They should. Justin Osterman gets rooted out of the way by Hey Lewis Hayes. Up against the wall, Keith
another
Graham.
Spot there. Oh, there goes Keith Graham, getting the shoulders out and bumping elbows.
Yes, they are now. We call Justin Osterman Mr. Excitement for a reason, Clindy. He's been involved in more than one fracas this season. And as you well know, coming to a short track, it's a place to repay favors. And around goes Osterman. That's on his own. Caution is on the Speedway. 66 of 267 to start lap 67. Osterman goes around on his own. Caution is on the Martinsville Speedway. And there you see it. He just got in there too hot, Clindy. Locked up the rears and around she went.
Yeah, to quote Fernando Alonso, karma.
No, we kind of talk about Justin Osterman being Mr. Excitement. If there's one driver that's collected a lot of favors in the series, it's Osterman. And when you get to a short track, Clindy, that's when those favors tend to get repaid, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a slow track where beating and banging doesn't quite punish you too hardly, or too badly, excuse me.
Harshly.
But there might be good news here from this yellow for Billy Elwell. It looks like Donald Green was involved in a separate incident at the same time as the Osterman incident, which, nope, it did give the lucky dog to Green.
It did give the lucky dog to Donald Green. But it is good news for Billy Elwell in that.
Now he's the only car any laps down.
Yeah,
so the next yellow, he'll be guaranteed the free pass. It's fairly quickly.
Assuming that no other cars go a lap down. So this is good news for Elwell. He did stop under that caution, 8.3 seconds. So he is fueled up. Presumably Elwell could go to the end now without stopping. So it appears as though he is prepared to take the wave round. Matt Wagner back on the pit lane for repairs. Same with David Dunwoody and Colby Pierce. They have all come back to fix their trucks. Ryan O'Donoghue is your leader, and there you go. Mike Rigney is saying he doesn't think that Say Hey Lewis Hayes touched him. If they didn't touch, they were awfully close, weren't they, Clindy?
Netcode giveth, netcode taketh away.
There you go. Ryan O'Donoghue, your leader, he'll have Duda line up to his outside. Matt Sizzler up to P3 from 12th. That would be your early nominee for the LGN driver of the day. He's going to have Say Hey Lewis Hayes to his outside. James Hodgson, Liam Anderson are going to go from 5th and 6th. Keith Graham, John Hutchins make up row 4. Jalen Story, how about him? He's going to go from row 5 with Jeremy Dunwoody. Dunwoody was laps down. Jeremy Dunwoody laps down not too long ago. But watch this launch, Clindy, from Ryan O'Donoghue as we head back to green.
He's been picture perfect so far all night. Puts it to the floor and squats away. Gets a whole truck width ahead of the rest of the field.
Yes, he does. Matt Sizzler is going to get to the inside of Jim Duda and Say Hey Lewis Hayes. He's going to try to get his nose in there. Say Hey Lewis Hayes does have, he and Matt Sizzler have the freshest tires. Ryan O'Donoghue has not yet stopped. Neither has Jim Duda. And we've got caution on the speedway. That is Justin Osterman and Colby Pierce around.
Osterman, it's raining, it's pouring. When it rains, it pours. Let's see if he can find an umbrella and dry off for the second half of this race.
Indeed, there he goes. He's trying to make it 3 wide in between Kendall Paul and Jeremy Dunwoody. Locked up the rear and around she went. He doesn't hit anything. Colby Pierce stops his truck on the speedway to not make contact. But that was an interestingly aggressive move, Clindy.
Well, I think Billy Elwell was all for it. He's probably smiling ear to ear. He's going to go from 3 laps down to 2 laps down, and the stage brake caution is not too far away. That'll put him back just 1 lap down. And any more incidents between then, you're looking at a very speedy number 67 that may work his way up through the rest of these lead lap trucks.
Yeah, if I'm looking at the lap chart right now, Billy Elwell has the second fastest lap of the race behind Ryan O'Donoghue. That is a fast man in that number 67, and there he is looking to get one of his 3 laps back from the early penalty. There he goes.
Now, something to note on this next restart is that Duda's tires are just as old as O'Donoghue's, and Sizzler's are the best. He pit at lap 53, so he's only got 20 lap old tires, and most of that's under yellow. Duda will have the preferred inside line, but we'll see if Sizzler can fire off from that second lane with the fresher rubber and keep pace with O'Donoghue, who seemed to gap everyone on the previous restarts.
Yeah, don't count out Say Hey Lewis Hayes. He's got 29 lap tires. James Hodgson, Liam Anderson, 21 laps on their rubber. Keith Graham, 29. John Hutchins, 21. Jalen Story, 13 lap old tires. Chuck Sweeting is 12. And let's show the time on their current run. So there you go, Clindy. A myriad of different strategies here at the front.
I think it's going to be about pace at the end of the day. Strategy might get you in contention, but if you're not faster than Ryan O'Donoghue or Billy Elwell, you're not going to win this race. Doesn't matter if they've got 20 or 30 lap old tires. They're not going to be in a position where you have an 80 lap tire difference over them, because they're going to pit as soon as that late window is open. So here we go, racked up again, too wide for the next restart.
There you go. We're going to get in the P1 airship to watch this one, and watch how Ryan O'Donoghue fires off, and watch how Matt Sizzler might use those new tires to try to keep up. But O'Donoghue, great launch. Sizzler does not fire off, so much so that Say Hey Lewis Hayes is going to get to his inside, Clindy.
Almost looked like Sizzler skipped or missed a shift. Like the lurch from third to fourth was just not clean for him, but he puts himself underneath Duda here at the entry of 3, eats a bunch of curb, washes high. Lewis Hayes looks to the inside, nothing doing.
No, so Say Hey Lewis Hayes, he's going to firmly plant himself in the 4 spot. James Hodgson is 5th, and that's Liam Anderson, and we have not talked about Liam Anderson that much at all, but there's Anderson. He's moved himself into the 6th spot. Liam Anderson started this race 14th. He and Sizzler, by far the biggest movers. Sizzler up to 3rd from the 12th starting spot. Liam Anderson, he's made up 8 spots.
Oh, Matt Wagner. Elbows out again, man.
Yeah, he's
not
trying
even
to
halfway.
He's trying to get back to the front. Matty Wags has to be. There's got to be a little bit of red mist behind the helmet of that 17. He started this race up front. He's got a lot of pace. He had a lot of pace. Showed a lot of pace in practice. Had a good starting spot. Bad luck found him. Put him in the back. He spent significant time under repair here. But Matty Wagner trying to make his way back toward the front. You see him dive underneath Jalen Story. That's going to bring Justin Osterman with him. Wagner just trying to get back toward the front before this stage break. And that would be somebody who I would guess, Clindy, is probably going to stay out when the stage hits. He's going to have about 30 laps on his tires, but why not? He can make it to the end.
And I think he's got his truck all repaired. It looks to be in ship shape. I just don't know why he's running that hard now if he's going to stay out later. It seems like I would want to save my tires, but maybe he thinks that the trucks around him are going to do the same. He's going to have to pass them one way or the other. Better do it now when they're stacked up with other traffic than later when they probably have better air/traffic situation in front of them.
There you go. There is a little bit of unrepaired damage, it appears, Clindy, on the left front of that truck. Or is that just the paint job? That's just the paint job. I thought maybe he had kind of the left front fender cut away, but not so. There goes Wagner underneath Keith Graham. Do want to thank Whiplash Simcams for these wonderful shots. Clindy, we're watching from the drone.
A drone? Who's flying it?
Not me.
Was it Sizzler? It looks like he's got his hands full piloting right now as he's in a dogfight for second position.
Yes, he is. There's Matt Sizzler. We've got caution, and that is Billy Elwell sideways.
Billy Elwell.
Yeah, that's Elwell sideways, and it looks like Donald Green got a piece of that, maybe too. And let's see what's happened to Billy Elwell here.
Looks like Keith Graham got out of shape exiting turn 2 because Osterman decided to put his truck where there was exactly room for 99% of a truck.
Now let's see what we've got here. There's Keith Graham. Here's Osterman, and Osterman, that's kind of late there, Clindy. Those two trucks come together.
We like to call that optimistic. That's the word I like to use.
I have to agree with you there. And poor Billy Elwell, he wanted the caution, but he didn't want to be involved in it. Not only that, he's going to get some pretty significant damage to that 67 as well. No fault of his own. Then Jeremy Dunwoody clouts the wall on the inside. Donald Green, I don't believe, did he hit Elwell? Let's see. There's Donald Green in the 51 truck.
Do we have live race control here, Murph? I see Kendall Paul is opening and closing pits and such. Would he be able to give a lucky dog to a driver who maybe, got an undeserved or a Phantom 4X? I know that Billy was actually involved there, so it looks like Dunwoody is actually 1 lap down again, so he may actually get the free pass, but I'm not sure if he was on pit road during the time of yellow.
So they do have limited live race control. And by limited live race control, I do mean this. There are several drivers out on the course. David Dunwoody is one of those. Kendall Paul is one. Colby Pierce is another. Who have admin boxes. So if you're not familiar with that product, Clindy, they're one of my longtime sponsors as well. But I don't know if I took you by their booth at the Sim Gaming Expo. But they have race control specific button boxes in their rigs, and so they're able to issue limited commands. The AMA rulebook, though, does not provide for giving manual lucky dogs, I don't believe. They'll use them to open and close the pits. They can throw a manual yellow if they need to. And they'll use them to extend or decrease caution length, but that's about it. I don't believe that the rule book would provide for a situation where they would give a manual lucky dog. If that makes sense, Lindy.
Green flag,
100%.
green flag.
There is the green flag, and Ryan O'Donohue continues his streak of getting just tremendous launches. Jim Duda tries to keep up on that outside, but he can't do it. Now he's hung to the outside of Matt Sizzler. Say Lewis Hayes is the interested party there, Clindy.
I think you give Sizzler 10 laps clear of Duda, and he might have something for O'Donohue with those fresher tires. We'll see here before the end of the stage.
Let's watch on board the 4D Racewear truck of Say Lewis Hayes. He's got the best seat in the house for this, doesn't he, Clindy?
Yeah, Duda's doing a great job. He's rolling a good amount of speed through the center of the corner to get a good exit. I didn't see the trouble, but we've got yellow on the racetrack again.
It is... I don't see it either, Clindy. Let's see. That is... Well, it's not going to be the stage break. That's in 10 more laps.
Oh, it's the 8 truck of Liam Anderson. He didn't actually go around, but I think that's that limited race control stepping in. He was 90 degrees sideways and all out of shape. But gathered it back up, and the yellow flag came out because race control was on the spot there.
Well, I don't know if that would have been a manual. Ooh, contact from Kendall Paul. That could have been a situation where he was...
No, yeah, Ken Dale threw that yellow. It was not an iRacing yellow.
There you go. So, like I said, they do have limited race control ability to throw yellows and advanced cautions and things of that nature. Typically, though, you won't see a manual yellow. That's one of the few that I can remember seeing. And to their credit, I've never seen. To their credit, and for the people at home, I've never seen them use it to manipulate or advantage a race. It's always a situation like that. That would have legitimately been a caution.
Yeah, I think one thing iRacing could do a little better or doesn't do enough of is smoke in situations like that. I think, if the rears are lit up and spinning like they are there's going to be a good smoke screen through turns 3 that would be there in real life that the sim just hasn't quite yet modeled. That race control would see that, and that's even a hazard for these drivers in such close quarters. So that would prompt a caution period at most local short tracks around the nation.
Yeah, most certainly would. Do want to welcome Matty Wagner into the chat. There he is, running along in front of Liam Anderson. Liam fell back to 10th as part of that. Billy Elwell, just for those of you minding along at home, he is back to 1 lap down. David Dunwoody is a lap down as well. And so they will race for the free pass. And remember, Clindy, that's going to be handed out here in just about 5-6 laps time.
I'm going to give it to Elwell. Dunwoody's got some damage, and he'll filter out just ahead of Elwell because Elwell's got to start at the rear for being the free pass truck. But he's had so much pace. We'll see if he gets it done here on the restart.
Let's see indeed. One more time, Ryan O'Donohue with the big jump. Hodgson into the back of Say Lewis Hayes. They get down into turn number 1. Clindy, this could get fairly wild here. Caution back out on the speedway.
That was Jeremy Dunwoody. Maybe some family manipulation there for that lucky dog, but I think Elwell was still behind the other Dunwoody.
Well, he
Oh, it
was.
was Dunwoody on Dunwoody violence.
It was Dunwoody on Dunwoody violence. The two brothers get together, and so Andy Dunwoody or David Dunwoody, he's known as either Andy or David, but David Dunwoody involved in the caution will not get the free pass, Clindy.
Yeah, that will go to Billy Elwell, and this will be the conclusion of stage 2.
Yeah, there we go.
Sizzler's asking why they had a restart in stage 1 with this many laps to go, but race control has fallen silent. So I'd assume it's because we have additional pace procedures, the lucky dogs, and closed pits, etc.
Yeah, so the one in stage 1 went back green with, what was it, 7 laps to go, Clindy?
I thought it was 2. The pits were closed as soon as they took the green flag.
Indeed. Well, they would still be under caution at lap 100. Anyway, at least I think they would be. Here's Ryan O'Donoghue. He's got Jeremy Dunwoody in front of him. The lights are still on in the pace truck, so it would essentially be a one lap and then a checker. If it was to go back green, we'll see or they would go back green on lap 100, so it would be a one lap.
Correct, and mercifully, here in the sim, we're not going to burn extra laps into the conclusion of the final stage here. We're just going to go, as soon as they pay stage points, we're going to ship them and rip them.
That's right. Ryan O'Donoghue is going to be the winner of stage 2, just like he was the winner of stage 1, Clindy. Jim Duda, he finishes stage 2 in second place, just as he did the first. The big winner here, Matt Sizzler, he's all the way up to the 3rd spot. And then say, hey, Lewis Hayes. Lewis Hayes has had a really good night, Clindy. There's that 40 racewear truck. He started 3rd. He's currently 4th. Lewis Hayes has done a tremendous job, and it would not surprise me if he stopped at that first stage. It would not surprise me if, say, hey, Lewis Hayes doesn't attempt to make it to the end here, and I think he's got enough speed. He might be able to hold off Ryan O'Donoghue if he got in front of him, Clindy.
We will see. Time will tell.
Time will tell. Of course, you've got James Hansen in the forward-facing 88. There he is in the 5th spot. John Hutchins is 6th in the 72. Kendall Paul, 7th. There's Chuck Sweeting in 8th. Matty Wagner is back up to 9th. And Colby Pierce will round out your top 10. Keith Graham, he's had an eventful day, Clindy, in 11th. Liam Anderson is 12th. There he is. Donald Green, 13th. And on the lead lap, good run for Donald Green here tonight. Jalen Story is 14th. He's still on the lead lap, still playing the long game. Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, he started to get things fixed in that 53 after a couple of spins. He is 15th. Billy Elwell back on the lead lap, Clindy, to conclude stage 2 in 16th. Jeremy Dunwoody is 17th. There he is, the only truck one lap down. David Dunwoody, and he has been back on the pit lane for further repair. And you can still see the wrinkles, although the front of that truck is a lot straighter than it was not too long ago.
It only took half the race, but look for Billy Elwell to start passing trucks for the first time this evening.
Yeah.
He's got 100 laps to get up to the front.
And again, his best lap, 19.424. Ryan O'Donoghue, fastest lap of the race, 19.359. He's been in a league of his own. But Billy Elwell does own the fastest lap of the race for somebody not named Ryan O'Donoghue. Chuck Sweeting, Matt Wagner are going to stay out. Everybody else on the lead lap is going to bring it down to pit here. David Dunwoody is going to remain on the racing surface. Of course, he has been pitting under this yellow, and he's going to have to go to the end of the longest line. Mike Rigney, Hodgson's paint scheme looks like he's trying to confuse people as to where he actually is, like a lion looking at a zebra. I thought it was more like the Doppler effect from Sheldon Cooper's costume on The Big Bang Theory. You remember that, Clindy?
I never watched that show.
You did not watch that show? Oh my goodness.
No, I don't really like canned laughter. It's very hard for me to listen
All right,
to.
man. Lights are back on.
Ah,
We're not going
gotcha,
green.
gotcha.
And we are not going green.
Did you?
Sorry to
No, it's
to be
okay.
boring and not get. Jacob Collins always tries to make SpongeBob references to me, and I didn't have cable growing up, so I've only seen like 5 episodes of SpongeBob in my life. So
You know,
you and he both have something in common there.
To be fair, you and I have something in common there. I did not have cable growing up, at least at my mom's house. So it was just the three networks. Fox wasn't even a network when I was a little boy. So it was 3 main TV channels, PBS, and then we finally got cable when they built a new house. But I was 16 by then, 17.
I think O'Donoghue's gonna be firing off here on Sweeting pretty stout at the start. I would be surprised to see O'Donoghue further back than third after 1 lap after this restart.
Hey, give Chuck Sweeting his credit. He is on the outside of the playoff picture. He's on the outside looking in. He's 7 points down to David Dunwoody. He's taking his shot, trying to punch his way into the championship round at Phoenix. David Dunwoody having problems ahead of him. Kendall Paul not having the best day. John Hutchins with the black flag on the restart. Matt Wagner slides high, and Ryan O'Donoghue is going to have a clean shot at Chuck Sweeting for the lead here momentarily, Clindy, and I don't believe this is going to take very long.
Well, like I said, he's in second now. That's better than third. That's where he started. So let's see how many laps it takes for him to get around Sweeting.
Most certainly so. Matt Wagner.
No.
Not that time. Matt Wagner is in serious trouble on those 33-lap-old tires. Car around hard.
Big hit.
That's Keith Graham. Keith Graham hard in the wall, and it appears as though he got a piece of Jeremy Dunwoody going past. Big problems for Keith Graham, and there's just the slightest of contact from Liam Anderson. Overcorrect hard in the wall. He's going to collect Donald Green. John Hutchins is involved. It appears as though everybody else got through there. Keith Graham immediately tows back to the pit lane, and he is ejected. That's going to be of great benefit for this man right here, David Dunwoody. He'll get back on the lead lap, Clindy.
He will, and I think it's actually really good news for Chuck Sweeting as well, because now O'Donoghue's going to have to start in that outside lane where it's harder to restart, and he might get jumped by Jim Duda.
Yeah, and say, hey, Lewis Hayes is back there. And Lewis Hayes has had quiet speed. If Hayes can fall in line, he may have a shot to get past O'Donoghue. So too Matt Sisler. Matt Sisler has been very quietly effective in this race. He is by far past the most cars from his 12th starting spot. We've documented that. But Matt Sisler in that 3 birdies machine, he has been very, very fast tonight, Clindy. It wouldn't surprise me if they can hang O'Donoghue on the outside. That might be the field's best shot to kind of bury him back in the pack and keep him there, Clindy.
Or, you can take matters into your own hands and bust out that chrome horn.
I don't see Paul Tracy anywhere in this field, Clindy.
It's not late enough for me to get in a cab, is it? They put me out there. I can manipulate stuff. I actually think I'd have a hard time keeping up. I don't think I could even get close enough.
I was going to say, it's been so long since I've been in a truck. I went out and ran some practice laps, Clindy. The best that I could put on the board was a 20.2, which would have started me, second to last among the people that took time. Just very much out of practice. It's been almost a year since I've driven one of these. Matter of fact, the last time I drove a truck, Clindy, you know when that was?
I'm going to guess June.
1 year ago next week in the Phoenix finale for the AMA Truck Series. The deal was cut to broadcast the series next year at this race weekend, actually. So we're excited to have AMA as partners here at P1. They are absolutely awesome. Kendall Paul has been great to work with and his team. Chuck Sweeting is going to restart this on the inside, and let's see what Ryan O'Donoghue can do now. He's not in the preferred line, Clindy, and he did not get a good restart that time.
Sweeting's doing a good job keeping the truck down on the bottom. O'Donoghue gets a good exit off of 2 there, side by side into 3. O'Donoghue sends it in. He's almost clear, but not quite.
No, he's not, but he is the first driver that we've seen able to hang tough on that outside, and he's going to out-drag Chuck Sweeting down the front straight, give the position to Ryan O'Donoghue, and Jim Duda is going to try to follow suit.
Yeah, they've just got such a great pace advantage. They've got 40-lap fresher tires. O'Donoghue's been the fastest driver all night, and Sweeting's going to have to settle into 3rd here and try to stop the bleeding.
Yes, he is, but he's not going to be able to do it. Matt Sizzler now fires down to the inside. Sizzler in the 3 Birdies Toyota. He's going to take 3rd spot, and next up in the conga line is Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Now Sweeting might be able to slot in between Hayes and Matt Wagner. There's a pretty good gap there. And you're right, Shane Coker. I am definitely slower than you. But watch this. Sweeting now is going to try to get back on the outside of Sizzler.
He's found a little bit of rhythm, found the momentum up there in the 2nd lane. But if I didn't know any better, this looks a lot like the Indy Next Pro qualifier from Texas. All the trucks conga lined on the bottom, with the lone stragglers in the 2nd lane going backward.
There you go. Say Hey Lewis Hayes completes the pass, and he is going to dive down to the inside of Matt Sizzler here.
He's alongside. No contact there, nice and clean.
Great move from Say Hey Lewis Hayes. There he goes down to the bottom of Sizzler. Sizzler hanging tough, and all this.
They touch.
All this means, by the way, fans, as we jump on board Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Ryan O'Donoghue and Jim Duda are vanishing up the road. We're on board with Matt
Maryland
Sizzler
sometime soon.
Yeah, they're gone. There we go. Say Hey Lewis Hayes has made the pass on Matt Sizzler, and so Hayes now in the 3rd place. If you thought he was happy on the podium a couple of weeks ago, fans, you haven't seen anything yet. Say Lewis Hayes with a good shot at this thing. If we get another yellow, he lines up on the inside. He may have a shot at the lead here, Clindy.
Yeah, it'll go from the Archway industrial flooring to the go bowling at Martinsville real quick if he's looking to win.
There you go. James Hodge, and that is a truck not in the playoffs, so he's not interested in self-preservation, nor is Matt Sizzler or Jim Duda. Now, Ryan O'Donoghue is, so too Kendall Paul, and that's something that we kind of haven't talked about. Matt Wagner sideways, he gets hit by James Hodgson. John Hutchins is around.
2 3 trucks.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
That all started with Matty Wagner getting sideways. He saves the truck. So here's Wagner.
Wagner got a little help from James Hodgson there at the entry of 3.
So
no, he just locks the rears. He didn't get any help at all.
No, he didn't. He got in there a little bit too hot, locked up the rears. Hodgson kind of clipped him going by, and the real loser there was John Hutchins, who just had nowhere to go, and he gets into Wagner as they get through the corner. Here you go. This is what we were kind of talking about earlier. The truck gets very loose when the tires are cold under braking. There's the spin from Wagner, the hit from Hodgson. You got trucks going over the curb, and then Osterman gets into the back of Hutchins. Around they go, and poor David Dunwoody, he spent the last 50 laps getting repaired to the front of that truck, Clindy. He's gonna have to get that thing fixed again.
Break out the sledgehammer, the rubber mallets. You're gonna need them.
There they are.
Put them away. Put them away too soon.
Yeah, there's Wagner coming back to pit lane. David Dunwoody has not come to the pit lane. But that's a tough break for Dunwoody. He had spent by my count 7 minutes on pit lane getting that truck fixed. It was back into ship shape, and around she went. Interesting to note, Chuck Sweeting did come in and take his final set of tires. I believe that would be his final set.
See if he can make anything work on them. He was at a tire deficit to the field, but now he'll be at a tire surplus. So we'll see. Even though he has no more in the pits, he's got better rubber under his truck than his competitors.
He most certainly does. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in. You are watching the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series live here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, be notified of all future broadcasts. And a word about our title sponsor. Archway Industrial Coatings is a St. Louis-based flooring company that has been getting the job done for years. They do epoxy and urethane flooring solutions that withstand the test of time, folks, all while meeting their customers' installation schedules and budgets. They're committed to doing the highest quality work at the lowest possible cost every time. Whether you're looking for industrial, commercial, restaurant, retail flooring, or concrete repair at home, you found the perfect partner to get the job done now. Get ready to floor it with Archway. That's archwaycoatings.com on the web, or you can talk to Sean Mott. He is a regular competitor here in the AMA. We've heard from Donald Green. He has retired the number 51, too much damage, and so 16 trucks remain on the Speedway. Here comes Ryan O'Donohue. He's leading Jim Duda, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and Matt Sisler as we get green one more time.
Lewis Hayes had a good initial jump, but had the truck squirmed there, they got into one. Duda gets into second cleanly.
Yes, they do. Billy Elwell way up on the high side. Elwell is making things happen, though. As we see Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Matt Sisler, they're going to go side by side, third and fourth. Meanwhile, the battle is getting furious toward the back. Billy Elwell making up positions in wholesale fashion. He is up to ninth spot. He's got the wounded truck of David Dunwoody in front of him. And Dunwoody can't really pit here and get that damage fixed. He needs to fend off Chuck Sweeting for that final playoff spot and the final spot in the championship four at Phoenix.
How many points are they separated by, Murph? Was it 7?
It is 7. Now we don't have the stage counts or the stage points counted in there yet either. Here's Billy Elwell. He's going to dive underneath David Dunwoody. Elwell going for the 8th spot. Remember, Clindy, he was 3 laps down not too long ago. Billy Elwell making a charge to the front.
I think this truck's destined for a top 5 for that 6-7.
Yes, he is. And here comes Chuck Sweeting, and that's the battle. Sweeting and David Dunwoody for that final spot in the championship 4. That's Liam Anderson way up high, missed the corner in 3 and 4. He'll have Matty Wagner all over the back of his truck. Wagner gives a shot to the 18, getting down into 1 and 2.
Nice here, boys.
I was going to say,
got his bumpers lined up.
Yes, he does. And I think that he is going to be wearing the back of that 28 out momentarily. He's going to dive to the inside here. Dunwoody, though, steams off into turns 1 and 2. But with the damage to that truck, I just don't think he has enough. Firepower to fight back, Clindy.
But there are enough trucks for Chuck Sweeting to make the points up in front of him. However, he's going to have to get on those horsepowers and ride. Maybe he could just lash himself to the tailgate of Billy Elwell, who's destined for the front.
Yes, he is. Billy Elwell is closing in. Next up on the Elwell hit parade is Colby Pierce, and that is the line of trucks in front of him. Ryan O'Donohue is checked out. The first truck in line is Elwell. Gets into the fence a little bit. That is Jim Duda, then Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Matt Sisler, James Hodgson, Kendall Paul, and Colby Pierce in the line of trucks in front of Billy Elwell. But Billy Elwell is coming. Same speed as Jim Duda the last time through. He is definitely one of the fastest trucks out on the Speedway tonight.
And Duda seems to have less pace than all the trucks behind him. And you can tell that because they're all stacked up one truck length after another. If you look anywhere else in the field where there's separation, that's when you can tell a faster truck is ahead of traffic behind them that doesn't have the same pace. When there's a big train of cars like this, it just means that the car in front or the leader of that train has the least amount of pace.
Sweeting
going around Elwell. Look at Sweeting go.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting to the high side of Billy Elwell. Elwell on the bottom. Matty Wagner doesn't know which way to go. He's trying to figure out which truck to follow. Wagner is on the same tires as Chuck Sweeting. Elwell hanging tough on that bottom, and Wags having just a whale of a time trying to keep the 17 straight. Did you see that thing wiggle under braking, Clindy?
Oh, yeah, and on load on exit when he's trying to put the loud pedal down.
Yes, he is, and Wagner has firmly lashed himself to the tailgate of Billy Elwell here. eventually, usually here at Martinsville, the bottom is going to prevail, but there is a 20-lap tire difference between Elwell and Sweeting, and it's going to be the tires that take precedence over the preferred line. And now Wags is going to go to the top side and nearly overshoots the corner, Clindy.
Yeah, he put his right sides out in those marbles. He did a really good job checking up there and turning left off the wall. He's just going to have to cool those tires off, compose himself, and try again.
Most certainly so. Meanwhile, Matt Sizzler has the view. He is watching Say Hey Lewis Hayes just stalk Jim Duda right now. Say Hey Lewis Hayes is after it, and Hayes, he kind of fades to the left. He's showing the front of that 40 Racewear truck to Jim Duda.
All right, man.
And caution.
Caution is out.
Looking.
Wagner is slow on the course.
Oh, yeah, he locked up the rears again. Saved the truck mostly.
Yeah, he did.
Osterman came in and paid him a tap in the
Ooh.
sheet metal on the driver's side and the door, and away they go. Enough to bring out a yellow.
There he is. Shane Coker, the Votive Racing League head, called that one. Matty Wagner gets himself sideways. Now, if you're David Dunwoody, are you coming in here, Clindy, try to get some of that damage fixed, get you four new Mr. Feelgoods? I almost think you have to.
No, I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots behind David Dunwoody on track. You're thinking you're going to lose all of those if you pit, and you're going to have to make up at least 4 of them to keep Sweeting out of the championship 4.
You could, but I don't see how he's going to be able to go forward, Clindy, with that damage. It has to be that much damage to the front of the truck. It's got to be affecting. The horsepower, of course. Here, though, that actually sometimes can be an advantage and not a disadvantage. Sometimes on a short track, it helps you control the wheel spin. But you got to think he's thinking about it here. He does not.
I remember the first Bristol dirt race. Daniel Suarez had an ECU issue, and I don't know if he was on 7 cylinders or something to that effect, but he was down on power and ran a good majority of that race in the lead.
Yeah, sometimes on a short track, it almost functions like rudimentary traction control. If you lose some of the top end torque in the motor, it can really help you out not spin up the rear tires. On corner exit, you don't have as much straightaway speed. It helps out the braking into the corner. You're a little bit slower down. You're a little bit slower in a straight line, but it picks up so much speed in the center that it pays it off. And so maybe Dunwoody is happy with the way the truck handles. Doesn't see the need to come in and get it fixed.
I think what you said earlier, Murph, is how does he expect to go forward with the damage on the truck? Maybe he feels that it's unfixable, and his best chance is to play defense rather than to play offense.
There you go. He's got Sweeting right in front of him. We are going to go back to green flag action. This next time by, Ryan O'Donohue continues to lead at 143 of 200 in the books here at Martinsville, and that means, Clindy, it's time to look at laps to go. We're going to get 57 to go this next time through Jim Duda on the outside, and Say Hey Lewis Hayes. He's made it, Clindy. He's the first car behind the leader on the inside line. Let's see if he can capitalize. O'Donohue with another great launch. Duda will slot in front of Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Matt Sizzler gets the outside of Hayes, and away we go one more time, Clindy.
Yeah, if you had played that restart with the last one back-to-back, I couldn't tell him any different. Lewis Hayes had the same issue getting into 4th gear, just a little wiggle to let Duda slip in front of him.
Say Hey Lewis Hayes is going to win that battle for the 3rd spot. He's going to stay there. Matt Sizzler slots into 4th. Chuck Sweeting, though, he is coming on that outside, buddy. He is driving around Colby Pierce, and next up is going to be Kendall Paul. Sweeting making up spots in wholesale fashion in the line that is not preferred. Meanwhile, behind him, David Dunwoody cedes a spot to Billy Elwell. He just can't seem to get anything going. But Sweeting on rails, he drives around Kendall Paul into the 6th spot, Clindy.
Go where they aren't, Chuck. He's driving to Phoenix right now, and he's got enough pace to get around Hodgson and Sizzler in front of him, it looks like.
Well, he's also got 20-lap fresher tires, and that can definitely be of some assistance. Another truck that has fresh tires, or at least stopped recently, Justin Osterman, he spent 22 seconds on the pit lane, and so maybe a little bit of damage repair there as well. But Osterman has recently stopped. Sweeting taking a look at the back of James Hodgson, and he is coming. Meanwhile, there is a wad of trucks back here. Billy Elwell nearly sideways, nearly in the back of Colby Pierce. David Dunwoody fighting with John Hutchins. That's for the 10th spot.
Yeah, Billy got the left rear treatment from Colby off of turn 4 and did a little drifting down the front straightaway, but gathered it back up, and fight continues.
It continues indeed.
It might be a bar brawl now, not just a prize fight.
And if you lay the bumper to somebody, as Colby Pierce did to get by Billy Elwell, you better make sure you clear him and get gone, especially a place like this.
That's what's called a bump and run. This is the run part.
Yeah, this is definitely the run. Colby Pierce is running from Billy Elwell. I'll tell you who else is running. That's Hey Lewis Hayes. He's made it into that third spot, and he is very firmly there. Chuck Sweeting continues to work on James Hodgson, and then you've got a gap to Kendall Paul, and I think Kendall Paul is perfectly content to run right here. No danger from anywhere. He's got Colby Pierce behind him, a lot of distance back to Billy Elwell. He's got a chance to avoid anything that happens in front of him. Trying to punch his ticket to Phoenix. Same with Chuck Sweeting, and Sweeting, with the damage to David Dunwoody, Sweeting is 5 positions ahead of Dunwoody. This is going to be close, Clindy.
Yeah, I wish I had paid more attention to the stage points, but I think, if anything, they were pretty close to one another all night, so hopefully that 7-point gap is exactly what we're working with, and we know that Sweeting needs 2 spots on track right now, either for Dunwoody to get passed by Anderson and Osterman, or for him to work his way by Hodgson and Sizzler, or any combination of one of each.
Something to that effect. And if you're David Dunwoody, his lap times have consistently been among the slowest on the Speedway, 20.254 that last time through. To compare that, Ryan O'Donohue, 19.966. Dunwoody is running around John Hutchins, a 20.079. Justin Osterman, 20.082. So Dunwoody is a tenth and a half to 2/10 a lap off. And he may yet rue the decision to not come and get new tires, get that damage fixed, if he has the ability to do so.
If he has the point available.
Whoa, James Hodgson spins! Hodgson spins. Caution is on the track, and now Dunwoody is going to have, and that was all alone from the forward-facing 88, the Battle and Brit, James Hodgson. He's going to get down into turn 3. And the back end just snaps around under braking. That too much rear brake, Clindy. There it goes.
I know. I think Chuck Sweeting was pressing the intimidate button. I didn't know that was in iRacing.
Haha. That's a reference to what was it? NASCAR 2005?
The Thunder games from like 2003 to 2005 had that option.
Yeah, it's in the EA Sports NASCAR games. Total Team Control is the one I have that has that. Much prefer if you are going to play a PlayStation 2 NASCAR game. Dunwoody says in the chat he doesn't have any tires left, but you would think he might come in and get some of that damage fixed. He does not. He stays out on the track. Meanwhile, Chuck Sweeting will take to pit road. That's going to drop him back to 15th, so he's going to have to pass. He's gonna have to pass 8 trucks just to get, or 7 trucks just to get back to David Dunwoody here. Matt Sizzler, Chuck Sweeting, John Hutchins, James Hodgson all pit under that yellow, Clindy. Matt Wagner is going to get back on the lead lap via the lucky dog. This is going to get interesting. Billy Elwell, Clindy, up to 6th spot.
On some old burned up tires, though. I think we're going to have comers and goers to the maximum here with 40 to go.
You will. Now, that does, Billy Elwell has exhibited this season a very hard charging style that does have a lot of short run pace. This stop-start nature of this race, though, does benefit somebody like that, doesn't it, Clindy?
If you can take care of your stuff and if you can cool it down under yellow and never abuse it to the point where it's irreparable, it really, really helps. I was talking to Shane Coker about this earlier today with some of the strategies we saw in the votive race at Iowa a few weeks ago, and had said if we had seen one or two more yellows, I think that the cars that had stayed out, including his teammate Indy Kirchenbauer, could have really capitalized.
There you go, Clindy. And you got to think about Ryan O'Donoghue. He has led so many laps, been fastest in practice nearly every week. He's only got a couple of wins in the series, and you know that he would love to win another here. As we head back to green, and we'll see if the trend of excellent restarts from O'Donoghue continues. It does, and say, hey, Lewis Hayes got a great jump behind him, and he's going to pull even with Jim Duda coming off of turn 2, but Duda able to make that high line work, and now Kendall Paul's going to pull up there and see if he can't have a go at third, but say, hey, Lewis Hayes, I think is going to be able to hold him off, and he does slide up in front of Kendall Paul. Meanwhile, Billy Elwell, along with Justin Osterman, have moved into 6th and 7th. They've got David Dunwoody behind them. Matt Sizzler looking to the inside of Dunwoody. Down the inside goes Sizzler.
Oh no, Dunwoody, hold on to it. He got door checked to the second lane, lost 2 spots. Now Sweeting is just 2 spots behind.
There he goes. POVS 09 had a car similar to Hodgson's in NASCAR Racing 2. Now that's going back a ways, Clindy. Not even I had NASCAR Racing 2.
I'm pretty sure that's our friend Casey Povolonis.
Ah, Casey, the cheese man. We're watching David Dunwoody, and that's the battle for the transfer spot in the championship. Chuck Sweeting goes by Dunwoody now, and he'll move to the inside of Liam Anderson. So Chuck Sweeting up into the 9th spot. Dunwoody is 11th. Now that would work out to Dunwoody's advantage in the championship picture because he's only given up 3 spots.
Oh, it's going to be more than that, Murph.
Make that 4. Hodgson going by, and Dunwoody.
It's going to be more than that, Murph.
Yeah, he's around. Around goes Dunwoody. Caution.
Now he's really on the back foot. He's got to hope Sweeting makes a mistake here.
He most certainly does. And for Dunwoody, you have to think, would he benefit from getting that damage fixed? He says he doesn't have the tires.
Oh, trouble on the backstretch. Liam Anderson got hooked under yellow. A little bit of miscommunication about getting to pit road, it looked like.
Yeah, let's see what we've got here. Here's Liam Anderson, and he's going to come down, and is that Hutchins? You're exactly right. Liam Anderson was trying to get to pit road, and Hutchins didn't realize it, and there's going to be the hook for Liam Anderson. You've got to wonder, though, would repairing Dunwoody's truck help him at all? He's staying out, Clindy.
Carbureted engines.
I don't know anything about engines at all. I know if you press down on the loud pedal, they're supposed to go faster. Here comes Dunwoody. I think he realizes he's going to have to do something here. And you're right. Give a call out to Billy Elwell. Elwell is 8th. He's made up 3 laps in this one. He's consistently been, Clindy, the 2nd or 3rd fastest car on the track. He's got old tires, and he did surrender a couple of spots, Matt Sizzler, Justin Osterman, on fresh rubber. But give a call down to Billy Elwell. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in, Clindy. Big numbers on hand for the race this evening. Do want to also remind everybody, if you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting Network. Be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts just like this one. Do also want to thank Archway Industrial Coatings They are a St. Louis-based flooring company. They're the title sponsor of the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. You can see that you can visit them at archwaycoatings.com if you need a new concrete or urethane floor in the St. Louis area. Give them a call, and let's see, Clindy, if Ryan O'Donohue can get away one more time. He's got to be. How many times can he snooker him on a restart? And there he goes again.
Well, looks like Duda's got a chance to slide down. He's going to do it. Lewis Hayes is going to have to work through him if he wants a chance to win this thing, because he doesn't care about the points. He doesn't care about Phoenix. He's just here to get the dub.
And that's just it. You've got points leader Ryan O'Donohue leading Jim Duda, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and now Matt Sisler works to the outside of Kendall Paul. None of those front four on your leaderboard are in the playoffs. Kendall Paul is, and then he's got trucks behind him like Colby Pierce. He's not in the playoffs. You've got Chuck Sweeting desperately trying to punch his ticket to Phoenix. Justin Osterman is pretty securely there. You've got a sick truck in David Dunwoody trying to make it. He's going to need something to happen to Sweeting. Meanwhile, you've got Billy Elwell back here who's hung on the outside. And Elwell, tremendous job. Hard in the wall there. No. They're all going to save it, Clindy.
That's good racing. That's why we tune in. That's why we broadcast these things. These drivers care about every spot, every lap.
That was pretty amazing. They all save it. Jeremy Dunwoody drives over the curb, nearly gets into the side of James Hodgson. Everybody keeps on trucking. This man right here, David Dunwoody, he's on the outside looking in, and he may need some chaos. And how about Jalen Story? Clindy, he's got that truck clean all night. Not had a whole lot of speed, but he just keeps on trucking.
Up 5 spots from where he started.
Hey, that's the name of the game. Do better than you started. At the front of this field now, Matt Sisler has gotten by Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Sisler is setting sail after Jim Duda, and Sisler on those fresh tires. He may be the only threat to Ryan O'Donohue here late in the run. Caution is on the speedway. It's Jeremy Dunwoody into the outside wall in turn number 4. And there's Jeremy Dunwoody, and we'll see what's happening with him.
Lock up.
Yeah, just locked the rears. Great save from Billy Elwell. Watch this.
Get him in a drifting championship. That was marvelous.
Yes, it was. And I don't know if I don't think Billy Elwell has the white gloves on, but if he did, this would be a tremendous shot. Watch this. Dunwoody gets down in the corner, and it just does not stop. He locks the rear brakes over the curb. He gets into the back of Elwell, and watch Elwell save that machine. What a tremendous job of driving from Billy Elwell. He's going to lose some spots. He's going to come down pit lane, and I believe Elwell might be getting some tires. Jalen Story has tires. There's Jeremy Dunwoody. He's going to grab tires. We're going to check and see if Billy Elwell went up on the jacks. He does, so he's going to get tires. David Dunwoody is on the pit lane repairing damage to his truck. And the front end, well, it's straightened back out, Clindy. So let's see if just repair of the damage can help David Dunwoody. There he goes.
So a bit of the reason why David is out of tires when the rest of his competitors seem to have sets to spare is he came in earlier just to fix damage, forgot to tell his crew chief to keep the tires on the pit wall. Ooh. And they bolted on a brand new set over a brand new set, so he burned a pair for no reason earlier in the event.
You know, that's something that I wish iRacing would allow you to do is bring back a set of scuffs. I think that would be tremendous. If you were out, you could bring back a set. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Or your scuffs from qualifying. Like, there are many times I don't want to run on brand new tires. I'd much rather have something that's been worn in a little. A lot of short tracks, you fire off better with lap tires that you've used for 3 to 5 laps.
Well, and speaking of firing off, let's keep an eye on Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Billy Elwell. Those are 2 fast trucks. They are on fresh tires, Clindy. So let's see what they can do with 23 laps to go here. Ryan O'Donoghue is going to be your leader. He's got the inside line. Jim Duda lined up, and O'Donoghue gets the drop on everybody one more time. The battle is going to be a little bit further back. Sizzler drops underneath Duda, and now Matt Sizzler with the fresh rubber, or fresher, by about 55 laps, is going to be in direct contact with Ryan O'Donoghue here.
So now Sizzler's going to prove what I said earlier. He's going to try to disprove it. I said you couldn't beat O'Donoghue with a 30-lap tire differential. He's got it. Let's see what he can do.
Well, it's absolutely, let's see what he can do, but it's not 30 laps. It's 50. Caution on the Speedway. That happened around John Hutchins, I believe. And that's just a quirk of iRacing. Getting that much sideways at the slowest part of the corner is enough to trigger the yellow, Clindy.
Yeah, and that was an iRacing yellow. It was not an admin yellow, so.
Yes, it was. And there's Hey Lewis Hayes. He's made up a couple of spots now. He's up to 10th on those new tires. And so we'll see if the 4340 Racewear machine can make any noise. He's got the Krause Auto Body machine of Liam Anderson behind him. Billy Elwell is also on new tires in the 67. And so we'll see what he can do. Justin Osterman is going to take the wave around. Mr. Excitement also has fresh rubber. And so we'll see if he can make some noise. And David Dunwoody back on the pit lane. He's trying to get as much of that truck fixed as he can. Nothing to lose at this point, Clindy. Might as well get it into fighting shape as best you can.
I think, as Jacob Collins likes to say, it's like you got what you got and you do what you can with it.
Yeah, that's about where we're at with 19 laps to go here at Martinsville. We're going to get the green the green here with 16 laps to go, Clindy, coming to get 16 to go. I'm interested to see what Matt Sizzler can do on those new tires. He's got the differential on O'Donoghue, and it's more than 30 laps. It's 55 laps is the difference on tires. Now, a lot of those are under caution, right? So it's not as though O'Donoghue has 81 hot laps on his rubber, but that is significant, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, every single lap you're on these tires matter, even if it's under yellow.
Yes, it most certainly does. Do want to thank everybody in the crowd. Great numbers here tonight for the AMA. One more time, if you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts. Triple headers Monday night, past, present, and future of IndyCar. Tuesday night, it is top split oval night. You've got the Horizon IndyCar series that runs Wednesdays, AMA Thursday and Friday, the Formula Indy series. I was going to ask you about that, Clindy. They also run on Wednesdays, the Votive series on Sundays, along with Dark Horse. You've got every kind of racing you'd like to have covered here on P1. Ryan O'Donoghue gets the jump, and critically for Sizzler, Jim Duda gets back to his inside.
There's a big wreck into turn one, but no yellow.
There was
Jalen Story.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
Caution on the Speedway. It's Jeremy Dunwoody is backwards once again. And here's Jeremy. He had Elwell sideways in front of him. You've got Osterman behind Jeremy. And rear brakes, Clindy. He had a pretty severe angle into that corner, too, and backs that truck into the outside wall. That's going to pretty much put paid to Jeremy Dunwoody in his chances of getting into this Final Four at Phoenix. Into the pit lane he comes. David Dunwoody is going to stay out this time. Osterman is going to pit for additional repair. And so we'll see where we're at the end of this thing. It is worth pointing out the point differential, Clindy, between David Dunwoody and Chuck Sweeting. We talked about that. That was 7 points. It's 17 between Dunwoody and Osterman. So you wouldn't think that Osterman would be in danger, but it's possible, mathematically speaking.
What are we going to have here, Murph? 10-lap shootout? Settle it?
10 laps, I believe. Yes, sir.
Oh, it might be 11.
It could be
Let's see,
11.
are we getting the green flag next time by?
Lights are still on the truck. I do not have access to the lap countdown. The drivers will know, under caution, 2 laps to go, 1 lap to green, etc. The pits are closed, and so you can tell that by the flashing lights. That would tell me that lights are gonna go out this time. So we'll get the green with 11 to go. We do have green white checker here in the AMA, so do keep that in mind. Ryan O'Donoghue has withstood every shot they've taken at him. He does have fresh rubber to his outside. That is Matt Sisler, 55 lap newer tires on the 35.3 Birdies machine. Row 2, Jim Duda has been second pretty much this entire evening. And then you've got fresh rubber in the form of Chuck Sweeting as the second truck on the outside. And that makes it more interesting to me, Clindy. The fresh tires are on the outside. They do not have access to the preferred groove here.
Well, it looks like we're going green this time by. Sizzler's going to have to just get a good jump and slot in like Duda's been doing all night. Let's see if he can do it.
Green flag, green flag.
Away we go. Sizzler does not get the good jump. Jim Duda fires to that inside. Sweeting did not.
Sweeting's in trouble. He had a bad turn, too.
Yes, they did. Look at David Dunwoody. Hard to the inside. We've got a truck around.
Man, caution is out.
That's going to be John Hutchins, I believe. David Dunwoody sent one from about the 15th row. Watch this. You've got Anderson gets into the back of Colby Pierce. David Dunwoody hard down in there. Slides up in front of Billy Elwell. Everybody saves it, and around goes John Hutchins. But that's a man desperate to make up some spots. He knows Chuck Sweeting is ahead of him by enough to get into the playoffs, and he's just trying to make up whatever he can with the damage.
He's not anymore, Murph. After that bad restart from Sweeting and the spots that Dunwoody picked up in turn 3, I think the edge goes to Dunwoody.
We'll see. 9 laps to go. Colby Pierce has brought his machine onto the pit lane. So that would be another spot for David Dunwoody. That's going to put Dunwoody up to 10th. Sweeting is 6th.
I just want to see. I want to see a longer than a green, white, checkered finish to the run to the finish. I want to see it play out naturally over the last, four laps. I guess we'll get so double the length of a green, white, checkered. I have long held the belief that NASCAR should change the number of overtime laps depending on the length of the circuit. Like at road courses, for example, I think, or restrictor plate tracks, it doesn't feel long enough to just have 2 laps, right? It feels like maybe you need 4 to really get the pack all settled out. But road courses, 2 laps, perfect, right? I don't know.
I'm gonna snap the start on the old chronograph here, Clinty, and I'll give you my opinion on green white checkers. You ready?
Yes, sir.
The race should be run to the distance on the entry blank. 14 seconds.
That wasn't very long at all.
You expected... You're like, man, Murph should give those... I like those opinions from Murph. How come he can't give 14-second opinions all the time, right?
Yeah, that's the shortest winded I've ever heard you.
No, I'm a firm believer in that races should be run to the distance on the entry blank. If you can within a certain number of laps, red flag it to try to get a green flag finish. But I think that green white checkers, all they've done and proven is that these guys can tear up a lot of equipment for no real good reason, Clindy. As we head back.
Well, here we go. Let's see how many trucks survive the end of this one.
Green flag, green flag.
Here we go. We're in the blimp to see as much as we can. O'Donoghue fires off. Duda cuts down in front of Sisler. Kendale Paul is on the outside. Okay, so Ryan O'Donoghue has made the break, Clindy, and now we need to focus back in on Chuck Sweeting and David Dunwoody. Sweeting is on the outside, Dunwoody is on the outside, and Dunwoody is losing spots. He's got John Hutchins to his inside. Sweeting has James Hodgson to his bottom side. Say Lewis Hayes gets crowded out by Liam Anderson. And there's David Dunwoody.
Hitting the wall.
Here they are. We're following the battle for the transfer spot into the Final Four at Phoenix. Here's Chuck Sweeting. He's got the battle in Britt James Hodgson to his bottom side. The front four clean and green. Lewis Hayes all the way up the racetrack, nearly into the outside wall. He's going to get passed by Colby Pearson, John Hutchins. Billy Elwell slides in the 10th. But this is the story. Can Chuck Sweeting sneak in and get that 4th spot at Phoenix?
Too much action all over the track. Can't keep our eyes on all of it.
We cannot. So Hodgson is now clean past Sweeting, and that's going to put Sweeting into 6th. David Dunwoody is 14th, and so that's not good enough for Dunwoody. Yeah, it's not good enough for Dunwoody, and that truck is bad hurt. There's Dunwoody with the wrinkled front end, and he's just not – he's down on power, and you can hear it, Clindy.
Oh, trouble!
That is Osterman sideways.
Osterman?
Yeah, that's Osterman sideways.
Dunwoody's licking his lips. He needs this spot.
Osterman high.
He's gonna get it.
Yeah, Osterman high again. Dunwoody goes through.
They're tied now.
This is going to come down to stage points. Here's David Dunwoody. Checkered flag. Liam Anderson in the wall. David Dunwoody comes home is going to come home 12th. Chuck Sweeting.
Got by Lewis Hayes. And what happened to Lewis Hayes? Lewis Hayes was stopped. Oh, he got turned.
Don't know. We do need to go back and clean up quite a bit from the end of that race. Ryan O'Donoghue is going to be your winner. Let's get Lewis Hayes first. So he's got Liam Anderson to his outside. He goes through Anderson. Here's Elwell, and around goes Hayes. That's going to let David Dunwoody sneak through. Liam Anderson caroms off the wall. Anderson did finish ahead of David Dunwoody, however. So that was the spin involving Lewis Hayes. Meanwhile, here is Ryan O'Donoghue. He'll get what he's been waiting for quite some time, Clindy, and that is a checkered flag. He's twice won in the series. However, he could have at least had 4 or 5 more. Here's Ryan O'Donoghue in his winning moment. So give O'Donoghue the win.
Now, he earned it. He basically, from lap 1, you could have penciled O'Donoghue in as the winner. Circumstances could not get in his way.
Yeah, there you go. 191 of 201 laps led. Here's the finish of the race itself. There you see Liam Anderson bouncing off the walls in the Krause Auto Body machine. Dunwoody comes across ahead of Osterman. There's Lewis Hayes. There's Jeremy Dunwoody. He'll be flagged off 15th and on the lead lap. Jalen Story 16th. And here comes Jalen Story. A lot to unpack. But that man right there is going to get the flag, Ryan O'Donoghue. That was a lot of fun, Clindy. I don't know if I can handle that much fun.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think I can handle that much fun.
Yes, you can. You went to Disney World last week.
I walked 44 miles in 3 days. Ryan O'Donoghue is going to be your winner here tonight at Martinsville. Jim Duda, Matt Sisler round out your podium. Then it's Kendall Paul and James Hodgson for the remainder of the top 5. Chuck Sweeting is 6th, and we have in the chat, David Dunwoody says, unofficially, Chuck Sweeting advances by a single point. Matt Wagner 7th, Colby Pierce is 8th, John Hutchins 9th, Billy Elwell will round out your top 10. In 11th, it's going to be Liam Anderson, then David Dunwoody, heartbroken in 12th, Justin Osterman 13th, Say Hey Lewis Hayes 14th, Jeremy Dunwoody 15th, Jalen Story, your final finisher, in 16th, Donald Green, Keith Graham, Jeffrey Hyatt, and Brian Sharp round out the field of 20. Do appreciate everybody's patience. I bet we're going to hear from a pretty happy crew on this podium. But you have to feel gutted for David Dunwoody with coming up 1 point short.
He fought real hard, and he did everything he could with the hand he was dealt, and to come up 1 point short after the whole work of this round of the playoffs, and you can't fault yourself for maybe you think about, what if I had chosen one lane differently or done something a little differently, or that set of tires he burned, right? Maybe that was the difference, but the best you could do is learn from it, pick up, and do better next season.
Absolutely. Before we get to the interviews, Kendall Paul has given us the unofficial Final Four. It's going to be Ryan O'Donohue, Kendall Paul, Justin Osterman, and Chuck Sweeting, and that is unofficial. I wouldn't expect that it would change. The Final Four for the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series: Greg Evans, David Dunwoody, Kendall Paul, and Ryan O'Donohue. So Kendall Paul and Ryan O'Donohue next week, they're going to have a chance to pull double championships. And won't that be fun, Clindy?
Yeah, what's better than one chip? Two.
That's right. We're going to go ahead and bring up Matt Sizzler into the P1 Broadcasting booth. Matt Sizzler, you've got Murph, and you've got Clindy in the P1 Broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
It was an eventful night. You had the fresh tires there at the end, but it didn't seem as though there was enough of a long enough green flag stretch to use them. If you could have got more than 5 or 6 laps at a stretch, you think you had anything for Ryan there?
Yeah, actually, I was just talking to Jim about that, and good job to him to get second. I needed probably about 10 laps. If I could have cleared the 0-3, I think, the tire advantage would have come back. I would have gotten to Ryan. I was definitely a bit better on entry, so I know I could have thrown it in there and at least gotten him spooked. We just never got that. We kept, and it was always like we would catch the bad luck of, you really didn't want to restart from second. Jim got the bad luck, and he still made it work to get second at the end. But he really didn't want to have to restart from second. At least I didn't. And I kept that. I think second to last caution. I had just gotten there. I was gonna get clear, and then caution comes out, and immediately I thought, well, that's it. Nobody's getting the 14. Ryan. Nothing against Ryan. He drove a perfect race. It was just I needed probably 10 to 15 laps, and somebody was going to have to do something to get Ryan, and nobody was able to get him there. Yeah, but we needed probably about 10 to 15 laps to make something happen.
Clindy, do you have anything for Mr. Sizzler?
Jim Duda did a great job of slamming the door on third from restarting in second place, and it just seemed like no one else could really fire off with as much speed as him or O'Donohue tonight. Do you think there's something to be learned on restarts here? Is it a matter of which gear you pick, or how you clutch into fourth, or what do you think the difference is there?
I honestly am. I don't know. I tried restarting I was in second for most of the night. The one time I restarted in third, I almost pulled a Lane Riggs from earlier tonight and would have stacked up the whole line. So, some drivers are just really good at being able to launch from second to third at short tracks like that. It's this. It's a difficult art to learn. Let me rephrase. It's easy to learn. It's really difficult to master. And I think Ryan and Jim, to their credit, really are closer to the mastering side of it. They were able to just do it every time. And Yeah, and like you said, Jim did exactly what he needed to do on that final restart to shut me off. Like, he got down there, and I thought about just trying to run the nose down under him, and maybe I could have, pinballed him into the 14. But I wasn't sure if Ryan needed a win to advance to Phoenix. I really didn't want to cause that to happen, like to be the reason Ryan misses a playoff run. Again, I didn't know, but I didn't want to punt somebody into somebody to get a win like that. I would have hated to win like that tonight.
No, that's definitely understandable, and it's definitely great to have good sportsmen such as yourself in the series. We look forward to seeing you at Phoenix, and definitely look forward to seeing you next year, Matt. But before we let you go, friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Well, as always, I know it gets kind of boring, but Three Birdies Golf Company for being my sponsor. They've been an awesome partner with our team with M3S for over a year now, and they got awesome stuff over on their website at threebirdiesgolf.com if you all want to go check them out. Celsius for the quick energy, my alma mater, Adrian College, Peace, Love, and Pause Rescue out of Southeast Michigan. My Friends Trucking Company, Nitro Trucking LLC, above the you might have seen that above the TRD sticker tonight. Added them just as a shout out to them. And then everybody who makes the series happen, Archway Industrial, Kendale, everybody at AMA, and last but not least, you guys in the P1 broadcast booth. You guys do an awesome job, and it's always nice to talk to y'all. Wish we could have been about 2 spots better tonight, but given the chaotic nature of this track, we'll take a P3.
There you go. And like I said, Matt, good seeing you back up on the podium one more time. We'll see you at Phoenix, and hopefully we'll see you next year. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
Sounds good, man. You take care.
Yes, sir. That is Matt Sisler. He's going to be credited with third today. For second place, it's Jim Duda. Jim, you've got Murph and you've got Clindy in the P1 broadcasting booth. I have to pull the stats. I don't know if you did not. So you did not lead a lap tonight, but I believe you were second for the most laps tonight. Talk about what you think it might have taken to get around that 14.
Ryan was awful good tonight. God, we unloaded this Ford Racing F-150 truck as a hot ride right out of the trailer, man. And I was saving my tires all night long. And towards the end of the stage there, the second stage, I noticed Ryan was getting a little tight. And I think I was catching him a little bit. Second stage, yellow flag came out. 75 stayed out. I was on the inside starting P3. I thought, hell, this is my only chance to take the lead here. But it didn't work out that way. And running the laps. And, and I don't know. I was just saving my tires all night. And, that's about, praying that I get a podium.
There you go. Clindy, do you have anything for Mr. Duda this evening?
Well, Jim, you answered your own prayers. You worked a miracle on restarts all night. You're able to fire off better than everyone but O'Donohue several times. We saw you sneak from P2 right down to the bottom lane by firing off better than third place. I asked Sizzler if he knew what your secret was, and he said that it's something easy to learn but hard to master, and he called you a master. How do I become a master at restarting on short tracks?
Well, we're a bunch of, I should say the Dudas are short track aces up here in the Midwest. But Matt, I really needed my crew chief, Jared, here tonight because I was indecisive about pitting. I didn't know if I should pit or not. And Matt pitted. And I knew he had me. He took over P2, and then I got to start on the outside or the inside, and I got the jump on him. And him and I were talking before the booth. And I said, God, I hope I didn't do something to you. He said, oh, no, you just got a good launch. And like I said, I saved my tires all night and was able to bring home a P2. So, yeah, we had nothing for Ryan. He's awful fast.
Well, fast he is, but you still managed to be the best of the rest. And with the middle step of the podium comes the mic. Friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs. The floor is yours, Jim.
Came down this weekend visiting us. I'd like to say hi to Janelle Brody and Callie. My wife is watching. Jared's in Concord, North Carolina tonight working, and I'm sure he's watching. missed you in the booth, missed you in the box, Jared. But yeah, Ford Performance, or actually Ford Racing now, and you guys in the booth, and of course AMA. It's been a busy summer. Haven't been able to race every race, but I tell you what, man, these guys are clean racers. I enjoy racing with them, and just a lot of respect.
Well, we have a lot of respect for you too, Jim. Thank you so much for joining us in the booth. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Will do. That is Jim Duda. He runs second tonight, and we'll go ahead and bring in the man of the hour. That is Ryan O'Donohue. 191 of 201 laps led. Fastest lap of the race, pole. Ryan, I'd say that's a grand slam. Talk to us about being the dominant truck and what you thought when you saw Matt Sisler appear behind you with 55 lap fresher tires.
Yeah, we haven't had one like that all year. And crazy to think we just won all three of these things. But yeah, I saw him come out at 4 cars pitted, and I saw Matt was 10th or 11th. I'm like, oh boy, we made our bed now. But as the leader, you control a race, right? And you can launch better on the inside. I saw Chuck coming too, and I wasn't sure where he was at on points. I didn't know if it was going to get interesting up there, but I did everything I could to just try and launch perfect in a restart zone and different spots, and trying to keep those two, Jim and Matt, side by side. And that was how I was able to kind of keep squirting away there.
Clindy?
Ryan, I think we call that a butt whooping. What did they all do to make you beat them that bad? Put them in timeout like that? Did you like have a whole? I'm new to the booth, obviously. I think I watched back at Daytona, but do you have like a season's worth of rage built up that you got to unleash tonight, or was it cathartic for you to get another checkered flag? Murphy told me that you've been fastest truck all season long, basically every week, and you only have 3 checkered flags to show for it. So, how good did it feel to lead almost every lap but 9? I think tonight out of 200.
Yeah, for sure. It felt good to win one this way, but not quite rage or anything against anybody. I think like Mark and I and Sam talked last week, everything's clicking right now in this truck, and all leading up to next week to race for a championship. So there was no reason to really lay back at all here in any of these 3 races. After we won the Roval, got through in Talladega with a clean move down a back straightaway, good push from buddy Matt Wagner there. And there was no reason to let up here, right? Just got to keep driving the same way, take all this momentum right to Phoenix and race for a championship.
Well, it's a short, flat track, too. I'm sure you're going to be bad fast, brother. Best of luck next week for the championship.
Thanks, sir.
Absolutely. And with the trophy comes the microphone. Ryan, by now you should know the drill. Friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs. The floor is yours.
Yes, sir. I always thank the girlfriend first. She's here tonight watching with me here. And Matt Surgical Supply, Maxima Racing Oils, Heatwave Visual. I was going to thank Kendall, all the admins with the AMA. What a great league. Sad to see this is almost the end of the road here, but it's championship time. Having a lot of fun with these guys. Looking forward to what's next with this league and next year. And I thank all their sponsors too, as always: Archway Industrial Coatings, Black Magic Studios, Trak Racer, Rogue Energy, Admin Box, and Clendy. Mark, good to hear from you, Clendy. Got to talk to Gary last night, so hope everybody enjoyed watching. P1's the best place to watch these type of races, man. Hope we put on a show.
You most certainly did, Ryan. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. That is Ryan O'Donohue, tonight's winner. And Clindy, we now have a championship picture here for the AMA with one race to go. With one race to go, it looks like this. For the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series at Phoenix next Thursday night, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. It'll be Greg Evans, David Dunwoody, Kendall Paul, and that man Ryan O'Donoghue as they fight for a championship. And then Friday, the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series finale, the championship for Ryan O'Donoghue, Kendall Paul, Justin Osterman, and Chuck Sweeting. It was a fun race tonight, Clinty. We got to see a lot more green flag action than I think pretty much everybody thought we would, especially given that Martinsville can be kind of a caution fest. But Mike Rigney said it. There's a lot of leagues that avoid Martinsville because they're afraid of the cautions. The AMA put on a pretty good show, Clinty.
Well, I think Rigney's maybe cooking up an idea to see some IR18s here in the future, maybe.
You know, I think that would be absolutely tremendous, and I think Mike could pull it off. And I definitely want to see that in the Onyx Racing League. But before we do that, we do want to thank everybody that tuned us in tonight. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, and subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting channel. Be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts just like this one. For everybody at the channel, I'm Mark Murphy, my partner in crime this evening, Kyle Clinworth, our founder, Gary Godso. We'd like to thank the drivers, the participants, the fans that watched us, but most of all, we want to thank the people that really make this possible: the military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving the ambulance, and the nurse that unloads you when you get to the hospital. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. Clindy, my brother, I will see you on the track Monday night.
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
Have a great night, everybody.